Hi, you're probably here because you're looking for a way to live a mortgage-free life. Or maybe you just randomly found yourself here. Either way, you're in for a treat. Watch this presentation until the end, and you'll discover the first steps you need to take to get out of your mortgage in record time. And I mean record time. When I first learned this, I couldn't sleep for over 2 months. My life was never going to be the same, and the reason was so simple. I was in college studying to be a mechanical engineer, and my wife was an elementary school teacher. We got tired of paying rent every month and decided to buy our first home. It was an exciting time. We finally had something to call our own. But it wasn't too long before we realized that we would have our mortgage for a very long time. Even though we had bought our first place before most everyone else that we knew, we still weren't going to be done paying off that debt until we turned 60. That's a long time. There are plenty of things that I want to do and have way before I turn 60. You've probably felt similar, but never knew there was any other way to go about it. And at the time, neither did I. It's not entirely our fault either. The banks make a lot of money from us not knowing. Now, we're not here to badmouth banks, it's just business. And we get that. But check this out. If you get a mortgage for $200,000 at only 5%, you will end up paying back the original $200,000 plus an additional $186,511 in interest alone. That's worth a whole nother house. When all is said and done, you end up paying enough money to buy you and the bank a house. Sure doesn't feel like you're only paying 5%, does it? If the bank is making so much money off the efforts of honest, hardworking people, why would they ever tell you about a different way to do things? Especially if it's going to favor you and not them. Unfortunately, the game is stacked against you. Even the word mortgage, you'd be surprised to know, is an old French word literally meaning death pledge. Are you starting to see that banks don't necessarily have your best interest in mind? Plain and simple, they are happier when you don't know any better, and you get and pay for your death pledge the same way that everyone else does. This brings me back to my story. I didn't like the idea that I was trapped, stuck paying for my house until age 60, and in the process basically buying a house for the bank worth $186,000. Then, one day I came across a local community of people, and they showed me, a full-time college student only living off my wife's teacher salary, how I was going to be done with my 30-year mortgage in only, get this, 5 years. 5 years. And the best part is, I didn't have to change a single thing about my lifestyle. Without earning a dime more or spending a dime less, I was going to own my home free and clear in the time that it would take someone to pay off a car loan. That's 6 times faster than a traditional 30-year mortgage. And all it took was a little bit of information and doing things a little differently than what the bank taught me. And in the end, the results were astronomical. With my wife's teacher's salary, I was now going to own my home years before my own parents would own their home. And they're good, hard-working people who both work and have already been paying their mortgage for a long time now. Not only was what I learned quicker, but also safer if I were to run into financial difficulty. See, normally if I were unable to make my house payments, because I lost my job or whatever the case might be, the bank would just take my house and leave me with bad credit. But you probably already know that. Fortunately, the way I do things now, I don't ever have to worry about that again. If hard times come and I'm unable to keep up with my bills, I don't have to stress that I'm going to lose my house. Like I said earlier, after I learned what I know now, I didn't sleep well for the first 2 months. And it wasn't because I was stressed. It was quite the opposite. I was excited. I began to think of what it would be like when I didn't have a mortgage payment for the rest of my life. The things that I could afford now and not just when I turned 60. I mean, how different or easier would your life be if you didn't have a mortgage payment? This is the question that ran over and over again in my mind. What could you do with the extra money every month? What dreams could you now afford that you didn't think were possible? Maybe for you, it just means peace of mind, or that your kids can go to college. How about a dream car? Or maybe no mortgage payment means a comfortable retirement. If you didn't have, say, a $1,500 a month mortgage payment, how long would it take to save up for that trip to Europe? Even better, how many times could you afford that trip each year? For me, no mortgage payment meant investing and growing my wealth. But whatever it means to you, it doesn't have to just be a dream. What I have just described here in the last several minutes is actually pretty simple, but it does require a little bit of educating yourself. If you were to try to fly a plane without the proper education, it would be extremely dangerous. This is no different. Thankfully, this is much more simple than learning to fly a plane, and to help with that, we have a community where we show you the course strategy on exactly how to get rid of your mortgage and start living a better life. And yes, it is free. However, that doesn't mean we don't require something of you. All we require is that you're motivated to make a difference for yourself. This isn't just open to the public, it is by invitation only. You'll notice that on this site, there isn't even a phone number to call or an email address to email. We don't invite just anyone. We only want to work with those that are actually serious about achieving their goals. If you feel like you're serious or that you're an action taker and want to know more, at the bottom of the page you'll find a link where you can sign up for a time when we can personally get in touch with you and talk about how you can learn how you too can quickly get rid of your mortgage for good. If you're not motivated or driven to take any action, please do not waste your time and ours. So if you're like me and want to pay off your home in a fraction of the time, giving you the freedom to pursue things that matter to you and your family, be it your kids' college, a trip to Europe, a car, whatever, click the link below to schedule a time to talk to us personally. And we don't just hire someone to call you. I personally make these calls. And if I can't make our appointment time, then my partner will. We look forward to speaking with you soon.